So the next thing we'll be moving to will be standard deviation. So standard deviation will be the next. So now, in getting our standard deviation, hope we all know what standard deviation is. So standard deviation here is us trying to look at the amount of variation or dispersion between different values. So basically, that's what standard deviation is about. So we are looking at the amount or the level of variation or dispersion between different values. So whenever we bring up standard deviation, that's what we are trying to look for, the amount of variation or the amount of dispersion between different values. So now we bring that formula up, standard. No. So this is it here, standard deviation. So we have two types. We have standard deviation population and we have standard deviation sample. So this one, the standard deviation population is used if the data set you're working on is a population data, but if it's a sample data like what we have here, so you have no need for standard deviation population. Rather, what you'll be making use of is the standard deviation sample. So that's the one we'll be using. So let's say this is the number we are using, this same array, we use it as our number. So that will be all. That's the only argument we have here. Just give it the number, then you close. And so you can see from this set of numbers we have, this is the standard deviation. That means this is the variation, the amount of variation between these values is this $120.2. That's the amount of variation between these values is this. Then I said for variance, that what variance does, variance is just the square root of standard deviation. What I mean by that is, if I come here and I say equals to variance, so I still have variance population and I have variance sample. So I said because the data we are working with is a sample data, so that's why we cannot use variance population. Rather, we use variance standard sample. So if we use variance sample, we use this same range, we close and we press enter. So you see, this is our variance. Our variance here is $14446.2. That is our variance. Now, remember I said variance is the square root of our standard deviation. So if we want to really find out if that is true, we can say equals to, let's look for the square root of this. So equals to, let's bring our formula square root. So we have square root. Now, what's the number? The number we are looking for the square root of is this. So this is the square root we are looking for. And we press enter. So have we seen that the square root of this is exactly $120.2? So that was why I said our variance is the square root of our standard deviation. So you can see this is the variance of this range that we used. But now this variance is the square root of what we have as our standard deviation. This is what I've just proven to us here. That is that with variance and standard deviation. So the next thing we have here is we'll be moving to learn, right, left, sequence, and so on and so forth. So we don't have meet here. We also have another one called meet. So that's what we'll be. Okay. So we'll be moving to learn, right, left, and meet. That's the next thing we'll be doing. And in doing this, I would like to create, first of all, let me remove this. So I'd like to create new columns here. Okay, so let's call this len. Let's call this left. Let's call this right. And let's call this meet. Okay, so these are the formulas we'll be moving to. So for len, this one is very simple. It just looks for the length. Let me bring it up. Equals to len. So it returns the number of characters in a text string. That is what len does. Return the number of characters in the text string. So if I bring up this formula, let's say this is my text, and I close. So what it will do, it will return the number of characters I have within this text string. So if I press enter, you can see it returned 13 for me. That means I have 13 characters here. Now, mind you, the space in between the first name and the last name will also be counted as a character. So that space would also be counted. So now let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then plus the space, that would be 8. Then we have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's why we are having 13. So if we come here and do the same thing, equals to len, and we use this as our text, we close. So you see, the number we have here is 15, and so on and so forth. So this is what len does, just counts the number of characters in the length of a text. Okay, so for left now, what does left do? So left, we say it returns the specific number of characters from the start of a text string. Specific number of characters from the start of a text string. So if I bring this, you can see the first thing there is a text. So I give it a text, which is this. The next thing, if I put my comma, it will ask me for the number of characters. So now, remember, everything here is from the left, it will count. So now, how many characters from the left do I want it to count? That is now the number of characters I will give to you. So if I want it to give me just, let's say 4, let me put in 4 here, and I close, and I press enter, you can see what it has done. It has counted 4 characters from the left, and it's what it has brought out here for me. So let's say I come here, and I say equals to left, and here I give it a text. This is the text, and the number of characters I want it to return from the left is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I want it to return 6, and I close. So if I press enter, you see it will return Matty, because this is exactly 6 characters from my left. So if you count here, you see this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is just what left does. Then for right, this is doing the same thing left does, but this time from the right part of the text. So if I say right, I bring up right, just the same way, I'll give it the text, and then I'll tell you the number of characters I'm looking for. So now if I say the number of characters, it should give me 5. Give me 5 from the right. So of course that is going to be Fagen. So you see Fagen from the right here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you see, if I should reduce this to, let's say 4, if I reduce this to 4, so you see that F will not be part of this. So it will just give me from A to N, because it's counting from my right. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4. So it has taken away N. Okay. So this is that with right. So we are moving straight to meet. So what does meet do? This one returns the value, the middle. So remember we said left counts from the left, right counts from the right. So meet here now counts in the middle. So how is this even possible? So let's see. Equals to meet. So equals to meet. So you can see here the first thing is, let's even see what it does. We say it returns the character from the middle of a text string given a starting position and length. So it returns the character from the middle of a text string given a starting position and length. So that is that. So now you see the first thing here is asking is the text. So let's say this is the text. This is the text. So the next thing is asking us the starting number. Where am I starting from? So you have to give it a starting number. Now the starting number would always count from the left. The starting number, you always count from the left. So let's say what I want to return is just the SEY in this person's name, in Lindsay's name. So I just want to return SEY in that name. So now what will be my starting number? My starting number will be 5. My starting number will be 5 because what I want it to return is from S. Remember I said I want to return SEY. This is just what, so my starting number now will be 1, 2, 3, 4. So S is 5. So 5 will become my starting number. And now, how many characters after S do I want it to return? Because I'm interested in SEY, so that means I'll just say 3. It's just 3 characters I'm interested in. So after this, I'll close and I'll press enter. So you see here, it has given me SEY. Being that I said it should start from 5, which is S, and it should just give me 3 from that S, which is SEY. So I feel this is very simple and straightforward. So I'm hoping that is fine. So now the next thing we are moving to would be sequence. So the next thing we'll be moving to will be sequence. So after sequence, we'll be doing trim. After trim, we look at upper, lower, and upper. And that would be where we'll end this class. So let's have it here. Then let's have this here. Let's say we have odd here. And then let's have even here. Okay, so what does sequence do? Let's see. Equals to sequence. It returns a sequence of numbers. It's as simple as that. Returns a sequence of numbers. So if I bring up this formula, the first argument here is row. The next argument is columns, which is optional. The next one is start, and the next one is step. All these are optional. So for here, I want to do a numbering. Now, before now, when we want to do a numbering, we are used to typing 1, and then we type 2, and then we just ask Excel to follow that order for us. So we'll come here, we start dragging down, and we see to follow that order. But now this is studious. This is hard work because you have to start dragging. So sequence is a formula that makes this very simple. So all I'll just do is I'll say equals to sequence. I'll just give it rows. So how many rows am I looking for? I'm looking for 100 rows. I could just end it here because I don't need multiple columns. I don't need the start. I don't need the jump. All I just want is I need 100 rows. So if I press enter, have you seen that? It has given me 100 rows. It has numbered 100 rows for me. So if I keep going, you can see I have 1 to 100 numbered for me here. As simple as that. So now, what happens in a situation where I don't want 1, 2, 3, 4? Rather, what I want is maybe 2, 4, 6, 8, or 1, 3, 5, 7. That's the order I want it to. So let's go with the odd first. So for odd here, it will be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and so on and so forth. So all I'll do here, I'll just say equals to sequence. So the row now, how many rows do I want? Let me say I need still 100 rows, comma. So how many columns do I need it? So I need the columns I need is just 1 column. I need it in just 1 column. It's just this column I need it. So I'll put my comma. So where should it start from? What's the number it should start from? So the start is 1. Need it to start from 1. And then what is the steps? I said the steps is 2. So now, what I'm saying now is, give me 100 row in this column, starting from 1, and then give me 2 steps after 1. So don't give me 1, 2, 3. Rather, give me 1, then do a step and give me the next number. That's exactly what I've just asked it to do here. So if I press enter, you can see it will give me 100 row of this. But now it will observe, starting from 1, it will observe the jump, which the step there I said is it should give me 2 steps. So after 1, jump a step and give me the next number. So you can say I have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and so on and so forth. Okay, I have the hand raised. So I think John has a question.
Yeah, in fact, mistaken, thank you. Well, I could see you've had on the parentheses, you have 1, you have another 1, before you have 2. So, I mean, could you just run through this again? Let me be able to catch up exactly
Okay,
what's happening.
which one exactly? The odd, or I should start all over
Yes,
from the beginning?
the odd, the odd.
The odd. Okay. So what I said is this. I said getting the odd. All I did is I say equals to sequence. Remember when we did this one, I did not use all those other options. All I just did was I told it to just give me 100 row, and I pressed enter, and automatically Excel knows that it will start from 1 down. But in this case, it's different because I just asked it to give me 100 row, and it's not just about the 100 row. I need it to be in just one column, just this column, not multiple columns. So I said one column. Then the next thing, where should we start these rows from? I say it should start from 1. Okay, now let's assume I say it should start from 3. Let's assume I say it should start from 3. It will still ask me for step. How many steps after 3? I said after 3, the next thing you should give me, just jump 2 steps and give me the next one. So my step is 1, is 2, because I said just jump 2 steps. By saying jump 2 steps, what I mean is after 3, jump a step and give me the next number. So don't give me 3, 4. Rather, jump 4 and give me the next number. That's what I mean by jump 2 steps. So I close this and I press enter. So you can see the start point here now is 3 because I said it should start from 3. And then jumping 2 steps after 3 is 5. And after 5 is 7. And after 7 is 9. And it will still give me 100 row. So let's go down. You see that it will still give me 100 row because that was what I asked it to do. I said it should give me 100 row, starting from 3. So I hope this is clear enough.
Yeah,
very well.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
So
I don't have that formula on my Excel.
okay. So just doing the same thing. If we are doing for even, it's just the same thing. So all I'll just do is I'll just give you the number of rows. In this case, let's say 50 rows is what we are looking for. Then columns, I need just one column. Then what's the start point? I could say the start point is you should start from 20. You should start from 20. Then what's the steps? The steps here, I'll say, okay, jump 50 steps. 50 steps after 20. And I'll say enter. So have you seen 50 steps after 20 is 70. And 50 steps after 70 is 120. And so on and so forth. That's how it keeps going. Starting from 20, which I said you should start from, and it's jumping 50 steps after each one. And now I only asked for 50 rows. So if I go down, you see that I'll only have 50 rows here because I asked just for 50 rows. And then I asked it to start from 20 and it should jump 50 steps. Please, are we all here?
Hello?
Are we all following? Or any question?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay, please ask.
Please, can you try for more than can you try for more than one column?
Okay, more than one column.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's change this. to 2 columns with the same this thing, and we press enter. So have you seen it?
Okay. Yes, yes, yes.
So this is what we have here.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So now the next thing we'll be moving to, let's see. So we're moving to trim. Trim is the next thing we have here. Okay. So now we say this is trim. So here you see this name. We have space here before this name. So if I should come here and go, you see 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 space before the name here. So now we want to trim that. We don't want that space there. So how do we do that? We use trim. So we say trim. So this is the text. It's as simple as that. We just close and we press enter. So now you see it has moved this to here, but trimming the space we had before this name out. So now if I should click on this, let me even do a drop down. So I'll do a drop down. I have all the names here. Now if I click on this, let me change this because all of this has this formula on it. So let me remove the formula on it. So how do I do that? Copy everything here. Ctrl C. So I'll go to my paste option.
Paste
Now,
as values.
I paste them as values. So when I paste as value, it will paste it for me. So that will be that. And then if you click on it now individually, you can see that there's no longer any formula on it. So now if I click on this and I come back here to check if there's space here. Please, is there any space here again? Hello, can you hear me?
Not at all.
You
We
cannot
can hear
me?
you.
Okay.
We
So
can hear you.
there is no longer space here.
No space there.
Meanwhile, here we had space. So if I had said, let me start closing this space one after the other, that would have meant me highlighting on it, coming here, possibly using my backspace to start moving. And when I do this, I'll need to do exactly that for this next name also. So that's task key. But with trim now, I was able to do that for everybody with just one formula. So basically, this is what trim does. And you see it has trimmed it without doing anything to the space we have in between the names. The space in between the names is still intact. It's just the excess we had before the name that has been trimmed. So please, is that understood?
Yes.
Any question
Yeah.
on that?
Yes, sir.
You
There
have
is
a
a
question?
question. Yes, sir.
Okay, please ask.
Please, sir, how do we are we in this example now, in this stream now, do we need to copy with Control C and paste it on the trim column? Or how did you, please, I don't know, I don't understand how you did it.
Okay.
So whether you can.
So why I copied was because I wanted to go up and show you the name to show you that there's no longer space there. So I could not have done that having a formula on it, because when I click on it initially, you saw what I had here on this formula bar was the formula that was displayed, not this name. So there was no way I could come here to check if I had space. So that was why I had to copy and then paste as value so that the formula can be removed from the names. So that was just the reason I had to do that. Because
Okay,
here, when
sir.
I clicked, I could come here to show us the space we have, that we had 1, 2, 3, 4 space before the name. But after I copied, I did the trim. I couldn't do that here because clicking on the name, all that was showing was just the formula. So there was no way I could check that out. So that was why I had to copy and then paste it again as value so that the formula can be removed from it. So that was just the reason for that. So we are moving to the next formula. And the next formula we have here is proper, lower, and upper. Proper, lower, and upper. Okay. So let's call this proper. Let's call this proper. Let's call this upper. And let's call this lower. Okay. So for proper, this name is already in the proper case. True or false? Let me see those
True.
that even understand what we are doing.
Oh, true.
True,
This
it's
name
true.
is- this name is already in a proper case, right?
default case. Yes.
Okay, so for those that don't understand what we mean by that, let's do upper so that you can understand. So equals to upper. So if you are using upper, all you just give it is a text. So this is the text. We close and we press enter. So you can see this name has been transformed into an uppercase. Every letter here is in an uppercase. So this is what upper does. Then if you are doing for lower, equals to lower, and then we give it the same text, and we say enter. So you can see everything here now is in a lower case. So now, we are to move, we want to use this lower case to now do for proper, so that you understand what I meant when I said everything here is in a proper case. So proper, and this is the text we are using, and we close, and we press enter. So you can see this now has transformed this to a proper case, just like what we had here. So I said this was a proper case. Proper now is you have the first word, the beginning of the word as capital letter, just the beginning. So all others are in small, but the beginning is in capital. So that is what we mean by proper. While upper, everything is in capital, and in lower, everything is in small letters. So this is what we mean by proper, upper, and lower. So you can always transform your text to whatever case you want it to carry. Be it proper, be it lower, be it upper. So I guess this is straightforward. So did we all get this? Any question?
It's,
True.
it's fully understood.
Okay, it's fully understood, right?
Mm.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So with this, we have come to the end of this part.